32nd.
I will call the meeting to order. The North St. Paul Planning Commission meeting of August 7th, 2025. Can you do roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Alvarez.
Here.
Commissioner Rathie.
Here.
Commissioner Gadboy.
Here.
Commissioner Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner Muick.
Here.
And Chair Blees.
Here.
Thank you. And Liaison Norby is here as well.
Liaison Norby is here. Excellent. All right. We have an agenda before us. Anybody want to make a motion to adopt the agenda as written?
I'll make a motion to adopt it.
Motion from Commissioner Rothi, a second.
No, second.
Second from Commissioner Muick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have an agenda. Approval of meeting minutes from July 9th, our special meeting. I have one thing that I saw that I think needs correction, but I need to ask Commissioner Alvarez. The vote for the home occupation, I think you were a nay.
Correct.
Yeah, that needs to be fixed on the meeting minutes.
That's page 3 of the minutes.
Yeah,
So it was a 6-1 vote.
6-1 vote.
Mr. Art, nay.
Yeah, and I'll take the blame for that. I think my vote call was haphazard, so
Get it corrected.
my apologies. And that's the only thing I saw. Any other comments on?
Nope.
Motion to adopt, to accept meeting minutes then with that correction?
I will move to adopt meeting minutes with the correction.
From Commissioner Wise, a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Rothi. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None nay. Meeting is open to the public, and the public is not here, so that's easy. We can just keep right on rolling. We have no public hearings for tonight. We have commission business. We will rely on Mr. Ken Roberts to do a report and present.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. First item is some zoning ordinance text amendments that staff has prepared for your reading pleasure and discussion this evening. I will not read all the words because there are many here for you, but I'll give you the highlights. These were generated, or I worked on them in part based on the work plan that we discussed earlier this year to clarify some things, especially what type of encroachments or additions should be considered or not considered encroachments into a required setback. And then I'm also proposing some additional code language about the expansion of non-conforming structures and how they relate to non-conforming setbacks. So first, the whole thing is a big zoning ordinance text amendment, which you have. Some of the highlights: clarifying the definition of pergola, and then adding some specific requirements about pergolas and where they can go and how they will be treated. And I included in the packet a little handout I found from a source called The Spruce, defining what is a pergola and what is an arbor, and all sorts of fun pictures for reference purposes, and that was part of the basis for those proposed changes. The second set of changes, which it's really section 3 of the ordinance, which is page 15 of the packet, adds and deletes a couple of sections that overlap with one of the new sections, new section D1, proposing to eliminate C and D. And what this does is add and clarifies what are what the city will not consider to be encroachments on required setbacks. And if you want, I can walk through those one by one. There's a lot there. If there's any particular concerns, I'm happy to address those if you have them. I don't know that it's necessary to read them all. I'll give you a couple of highlights. Number 2, which is again on page 15 of the packet, calling out and clarifying that ramps and other devices in compliance with ADA are not considered, and they will not be subject to the setback requirements. They're not considered an encroachment problem, if you will. And the key with that is I call them uncovered ramps and other devices for access to buildings. And my thought was an open ramp, uncovered ramp, not a lot different than a sidewalk or front steps that go up into a front door, even a side door. And as people age, they often want to stay in their homes, they need the ramps. The difference, or the clarifying, one of the clarifying things is I added that it be uncovered, because in my opinion, if you cover it, it's almost acting like a front porch and getting that much closer to the front, and I don't think that's the intent of what the city would want. So that's number 2. Number 3 talks about egress window wells, and a lot of these are proposed because they're not clear in the code. And so I'm proposing that the egress window wells may encroach up to 3 feet into a required setback, subject to review and approval by the building official. And with many of these, I added in that they are not permitted to cross property lines and may not be placed in public drainage and utility easements. We want to make sure that those, especially the easements, are kept clear for utility work, grading, drainage, those kind of purposes.
What page is that on?
That's pages 15 and then going over to the top of page 16. So D3, I believe it is.
So egress windows can go 3 feet into, say that again, please.
Up to 3 feet into a required setback.
Okay. Side and back, or just, it doesn't matter?
Any side, any,
Front, side, or rear.
yeah, any required setback.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And then for our residential zoning districts, the R1, R2, R3, starting near the top of page 16, again, call out several things. Patios, how they can, which are paved outdoor areas of the ground, usually adjoining a dwelling designed, established, and/or installed to provide a space for outdoor living. And the standard I'm proposing is that uncovered concrete and paver patios that are built flush at the grade shall have at least a 3-foot setback from the side or rear property line, and that's the same standard for driveways in our residential districts. And to ensure that drainage is directed away or to a public way, and so it does not adversely affect neighbors. And uncovered concrete and paver patios that are built flush to the grade may encroach up to 6 feet into any required or actual front yard. And we don't necessarily get a lot of calls on these, but again, we're trying to cover as many of the bases as reasonably possible with these proposals. Next one is awnings, and this is for fixed or permanent awnings, where if you say have a west-facing window or a south-facing window, you want to put an awning on your house at permanent. If your house is built right at the setback, then you'd have an awning encroaching into a setback. And I'm proposing that they may encroach at least up to 3 feet into a required setback. And then there's additional rules there about they may encroach into up to 6 feet into a required front or rear setback and 3 feet on a required side yard setback when placed over steps, stoops, or an exterior landing. So again, some coverage in those areas, with some limits that they not exceed 8 feet in length along the wall plane, and the front and rear setbacks of not less than 20 feet be maintained, and 3 feet on the sides. I'm proposing to add in rules about arbors and trellises, and that if they're less than 20 square feet in area, they may be located in a required setback. If they're more than 20 square feet in area, then they have to meet our setback requirements. And some language there that they not be constructed of razor wire, chain link, chicken wire, railroad ties, utility poles, plywood, or other similar materials. If they are larger than the 20 square feet or 9 feet in height, then they have to meet all setback requirements that we would have for an accessory building, which is, again, depends on the zoning district.
I have a question for you on that, on those requirements, and that is the 50% open. As it stated in the examples that you gave, many trellises these days have a movable covering. So if that covering is in place, is that, that would not have 50% open? And what would happen if you built it as a trellis originally and then decided later that you wanted to roof it?
Depends if they call the city and ask.
Well, that's true, too.
Yeah. Well, the intent is that they remain open for vines to climb up or just decorative and that kind of thing. If we want to, yeah, as it's proposed, it says that they're to be at least 50% open. I can't imagine covering a small trellis is really going to make a.
It's not the trellis so much that I'm thinking about, it's the pergola.
Sure.
So I'm just wondering if maybe we might want to put a modifier in there that says something to the effect of, must be 50% open, with the exception of, movable roofing or something like that, something that would give people that want to have a pergola that has a temporary sunroof, what I'm thinking of is the ones that are contained, that are mechanical, you flip a switch and
Yeah.
the roof extends
Yeah.
and comes back
But I think we have a separate reference to pergola, do we not?
Yes,
Yeah, which
These are-
addresses something about covering.
yes.
Okay.
So I think for arbors and trellises, you're okay, because I think you're talking about a different definition then.
Okay.
I
Thank
think
you.
that's my understanding.
I agree. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Excuse me, the next set of things to have some rules about are permanently installed outdoor fireplaces, grills, and barbecues. We don't necessarily want them, there's no setback rules for them now, so we're proposing some that they not be in, not be in a front yard, only be located in side and rear yards. They may not encroach into the required side setbacks, but may encroach up to 10 feet in a required rear yard setback. If it's on a corner lot, the side yard setback on the street side still has to be met. And again, they are not permitted to cross property lines, which I would like to think we wouldn't have to put in the code, but it's kind of a extra belts and suspenders kind of thing. And they may not be placed in public drainage and utility easements.
Are you taking into account the location of some of the houses that are positioned differently, where that side yard faces the front of the house? I'm just asking out of perspective.
I hadn't.
Faces, stuff.
You can, if the house faces north-south, and from the street, you have two angles, one side and one the front. You can put it on the side and you can see everything
it's a
from the
corner.
side. Doesn't even need to be a corner. Look across the street from my house, I can see the side yard just as much as I can see the.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know that it's a visibility issue so much as,
Thus is why I was
yeah.
asking. 'Cause I'm sure that's not the only one in town.
And Ken, could you explain, there it went, sorry. What is, in incidents where the side or rear yard abuts a public street or alley, a setback of not less than the required front setback? What is a front setback?
On the side street, so on a corner lot, there's a required front yard setback of 20 feet in most districts. but the side yard setback can go down to 15 feet, I believe. And so on a corner lot, if it's, as Jim was pointing out, if the house is here and this is your front street, your side street's over here, I don't think the city wants them right out by the sidewalk on the side street or that boulevard. So then it would have to meet that 15-foot setback from that side property line, if it's on a street side or an alley.
Example, the example that Jim is referring to is a house that is very long. It's a corner lot, but it's very long on its front, on the facing the street. And there's a deck on the end, which is the end of the long house, which is the side lot. And so that's the situation that, you know, yeah, that's an extraordinarily larger lot than a lot of them in our town, but
Would that be likely to be a very rare lot layout in?
depends on the circumstance, I suppose. I mean, you're gonna find it elsewhere, but I don't know that, I guess part of the rationale for the requirements, proposed requirements is aesthetic. And is that situation where they could have it on a side lot and it's visible from the street, it's visible to the neighbor? Does that matter? Is it a significant
Are we worried
item?
about
Are we concerned about it?
visibility or more the safety of it?
I would think safety and just some separation from the neighbors.
These are permanently installed.
Yeah, these are permanent.
Well, and the other scenario, the reason I asked the question that I believe there is a fair amount is the grass alleys that people's backyard bumps up to. I can walk down these grass alleys, and these permanently installed fireplaces are 3 to 4 feet from the grass alley. So it would make a lot of these non-conforming if it goes into effect as worded.
Well, you're gonna have non-conforming anyway, all over the place. So whatever rules you put in place, there's always something.
And if I can jump in for a second, these are all ideas I've picked up from working elsewhere and looking at other codes. I think they're applicable here, but you all know much better if they really are necessary or not. If they're not, I'm not at all offended if you say it's not worth it, we don't need to worry about it, and we'll just scratch that. If you think there's value in it, then by all means, let's keep it in and figure it out for any of these.
Have we had any issues surface on any of these pieces that have raised your
Not,
reference?
not, in talking to Chris, not that I'm aware of. So to answer your question, Jim, I don't have a good answer other than if somebody really wanted to do it and they asked, they'd probably have to go through a variance process if this is the language that stays put. This would be a setback question.
I don't have an objection to the way it's written personally. I mean, I can't really envision a problem. And I like the idea that a permanent fixture like that wouldn't be in a front yard. 'Cause they can get pretty big. And, part of it goes back to, if you were gonna put your patio in the front yard and that's where you wanna do your cooking and stuff, then with these proposed, requirements, that we've kind of ruled that out.
And
So,
not everybody, most people have mobile or portable grills
yeah.
and barbecues. Unless you want to build a fancy pizza oven where it's permanent, or a bread oven, which are cool.
A lot of people, though, just put down a row of not fire-grade landscape blocks. And that's kind of permanent-ish. I mean, not really, it's not mortared in, but you ain't moving those around too
I'm
easily.
sure if you went over
People do that all the
across
time.
the border to Patio Town, they could solve your
Yeah.
problem really, really well, and you could have
They'd be happy with how-
massive
Yep.
cooking equipment.
Yep. That, to me, seems semi-permanent, that you're not, like, mine is a roller one, right? So I can move it around, but a lot of people are just getting some pavers and putting them around. And those wouldn't look great in the front.
How about the guy who does the deep fried tacos on 120 going
Yeah.
south?
Yeah, out of his garage.
Out of his garage.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that that's not a permanent structure, but that's probably as close to a permanent structure as one could think of.
Sounds like a big fire hazard.
The fried tacos.
I know the only thing that gives me any concern at all is just the houses like mine where you've got,
Oh, he's right down from you.
the house is so far back on the setback that you've got like 2/3 of the property is front lawn and the back is about 40 feet. So I don't want to have a patio in the front of my place, but, somebody that, wanted to entertain might want a patio in the front
Yeah.
for some reason.
And that would be a case that's unique circumstances, practical difficulties could probably be met. Because if they have a 60 or 70-foot front yard and only 30 on the back, well,
Yeah.
if the house was built that way 30 or 40 years ago, it's not their fault probably.
Right.
I can give you an example of
Yep.
such a thing when we get to the recreational equipment.
Any other comments on that section, or should we keep moving? All right. Speaking of recreational equipment, that's next. And again, the word there is permanent, which to means it's anchored down and intended to be stationary for more than a week. Over 4 feet in height, again, are not permitted in the front yard. They are permitted in the side and rear yards, provided a setback of at least 5 feet is maintained.
So an example such as Cameron brought up, across the street from us, very deep lots, because they're on the lake. Their front yard, so front yard setback is different from the actual actual yard size. But their yard has to be well over 100 feet, their front yard. And they had a big play structure there for a while, years ago. But it was behind trees, and, I mean, you couldn't even tell it was there except for certain times of the year. So in a situation like that, it was probably beyond the setback, but it was in fact in the front yard. Wouldn't have been objectionable to anybody, the way it was positioned. So that's one of those extraordinary situations where you might come forward and say, well, look, this is our condition, and here's what we're planning on doing.
Like, if they ask.
Yeah, if they ask.
Is this verbiage that's in our code right now?
No. Everything is bold and underlined is all proposed new language.
So this one here, so I took my big playground equipment when my daughter got older, and our neighbor, the two ladies on the corner that have little girls, we literally got 8 guys, picked it up, walked it to their front yard and put it in. They have about 4 feet, I don't know how, it's a tiny lot in the back, they have no room. They have their chickens on the side, and it's in the front yard, and it's about 8 feet from the, I mean, they have no yard hardly at all. So my gut is, it's where they have. And so, in general, and this is maybe not appropriate time for this, but I'm gonna toss it out, and if it's not, just to say it's not. I feel like, I don't know that I would say we should define everything so specific ahead of time if there's not current issues with it. And that's a little more laissez-faire idea on my part, maybe, of, in general, I want to see people be able to enjoy their homes as best as they practically can, and if people are complaining, we should address that. And so that's maybe a higher level, philosophical level of governance of, I would rather see less things pinned down so that people, because it's not black, things aren't very, there's all kinds of different examples of homes, especially North St. Paul. I mean, there's a crazy amount of different things, and so, I don't know. Right now, I can show you one that's, I could probably reach out from the sidewalk and touch it almost. I moved it there myself for these little girls, and so, I don't know that anyone's complained about it. It's on a very busy street, and So I don't know, that's my gut in general is, I would like to see code be as user-friendly as possible and as free as possible, that people who are violating clear things that we already know, like if they're disturbing someone, we already have code and ordinances for most of that, right? And so I don't know. Some yards, there's zero room in their backyard for any equipment for their kids, so the front yard's all that's left.
I got a neighbor that put one on his side, he's got another one in the back.
This is one that I considered in my mind as maybe you just don't need it,
I would say.
this particular paragraph.
Recreation equipment, even that's permanent, tends to come and go as kids come and go, and kids come and go.
The other thing I'd be a little concerned about, I don't know that I've seen it, but I'm sure they exist, would be things like rope swings from trees, that's permanent, but, is that going to come under a regulation like this because it's attached to a tree?
I would hope not,
Yeah.
yeah.
And are we including like above-ground swimming pools in this?
No, those are,
Okay,
most pools are considered structures, and then they have to
okay.
meet setback requirements.
And most aren't over 4 foot high either. Some are, but usually they're dug down a little bit.
Am I sensing a consensus that we just scratched number 5 of recreation equipment?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think it's an issue.
That's easy enough.
Thank you.
And always address it later if it becomes an issue.
I think a lot of these things, I mean, we're bringing up a lot of good examples where we don't want to give variances out for everything, but what we're bringing up is a good variance. But for this, it seems heavy-handed to have to get a variance for,
For a swing set.
So, yeah, I would say, I agree, this one could be taken out.
And
However, I would like to commend you for thinking about these
Yeah.
things and bringing
Yeah.
them to
Oh,
us.
absolutely.
Because we might not, you bring forth issues we may have never considered.
Right.
So,
And for staff, it's kind of a good and bad. We have more rules on the book, and then we can tell people, here's what you can and can't do. But when they don't fit those nice boxes, then we create more variance requests, so that's
Yeah.
potentially. So it's a balancing act, and if there's not a big concern or big need, we'll strike it. So the next one on the list is about air conditioning equipment. And what I'm proposing is they may, and again, the outside condensers primarily is what this is focused on, that they may encroach 5 feet into a required or actual side or rear yard, provided, again, it doesn't cross the property line, may not be placed in drainage easements, and if the placement will not negatively affect grading or drainage. And in my previous work experiences, that for a lot of these things, that often becomes a problem. It's not so much that something is in a side yard, but suddenly somebody changes the grading and drainage, and now the water's going in a different direction than it used to. Now it's flooding my neighbor's the neighbor's backyard, their driveway, and now they're mad, and why did the city let them do that, and that kind of thing. So, in theory, trying to prevent that. I also, though, am proposing that they can encroach up to 5 feet in a required front yard, provided the front setback of not less than 15 feet is maintained, and that in the front yard, they be screened from view from the public street by landscaping fence or a wall. I don't know that there'll be very many times when somebody would have an air conditioner or condenser in a front yard. It's possible, again, depending on how the house is laid out, where the mechanical room is and all that. You'd like to think most people would want them in the side or rear yard, but at least wanted to provide some flexibility there, because most people, I think, want to have air conditioning if they can. And if that's the only, or the best place to put it, do it with some screening.
Sometimes they do have to go in the front yard, just
do.
where they are in the mechanical room.
I'm just wondering whether they need to have screening or not. They're not a particularly large unit, and putting a screen around them does seem like that would make it more difficult for them to be serviced.
Depends on the distance away from the unit that the screen is.
Well, it's true, it's true.
Yeah, you don't put the fence right next to it. You got to let them breathe.
Yeah.
Most contractors are going to try to keep that space around a unit. I mean, that's most cases that is.
Yeah.
Or worst case, the fence has to come down and then it gets put back up. If it's a fence, if it's landscaping, trim the bushes.
Okay.
Next one is one that I've just paid attention to from maybe watching too much television, is about generators. I see the commercials for Enerjack, and I think I would be surprised if not more and more people have permanent generators installed at their home for backup power. And so, similar to the air conditioning units, I think it's appropriate to have some rules about where they can and cannot go. So again, these are the standby or permanent generators, not the ones you take camping or wheel around and just use for 12 hours. These are ones that look like probably the size of this desktop or a little bigger. That they get fed with propane or natural gas, and then they click on when your power goes out. So proposing several rules there. Again, that they be kept at least 5 feet away from property lines, buildings, and designated means of egress systems, including stairs, ramps, windows, wells. That they have to meet all the fire prevention code, that's the NFPA. The exhaust would need to be positioned to prevent creating a nuisance, and this gets a little trickier. That means, and these standards I took from other codes. I'll take full credit that I plagiarized them, but want to have a minimum of 10-foot clearance from any openings that could allow fumes into the building, including doors, window vents, and air intakes. The placement shall verify that all potential sources of water intrusion, such as sprinklers, roof runoff, downspouts, and sump pump discharge, are directed away from the generator. It would seem to make sense that you don't want to have water going on your new electrical unit. That doesn't seem like it would be a good mix, but one of those things you wouldn't think you'd have to put in the code, but I think E is a little trickier, is that it says the placement shall take into consideration the location of doors, windows, and other openings on adjoining properties so as not to create a nuisance from noise and exhaust. And that one certainly would be more subjective.
Well,
Some ordinances said,
Isn't that covered by C?
this is relationship to adjoining
Yeah, but
structures.
wouldn't that still be covered by C? Because it doesn't specify which building the exhaust or then would be.
Well, the C was intended for the property that it's on with the 10-foot.
Doesn't say that.
No, it doesn't. And
I think you're right. I think it could be written such that C covers
Yeah.
this building that's being served as well as other buildings around.
Yep.
Doesn't specifically say in C. It just
C-
says a building.
well,
I think what you were doing with C also seems like, for code for fumes and,
Yeah.
that's a different code than noise.
Yeah.
That's a,
because E is talking about creating a nuisance from noise and exhaust.
yeah.
Which
Okay.
is intended for the neighbors. If you want to create your noise for your own property and you can live with it, so be it, but,
Right.
Okay.
But the 10-foot is for a safety thing for CO for,
correct.
yeah.
And there were some codes that required, depending on where the generator was placed, especially in a side yard, that the person installing it put up a 5-foot fence around them, solid fence, or landscaping with arborvitae or something to knock down noise so it wouldn't necessarily disturb the neighbors. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole if I didn't have to.
Well, then we get into the fencing ordinance and.
Right.
Do we have any residential units in North St. Paul?
Probably.
Like these right now?
Probably.
I have not seen any residential units, that's why I'm
I
inquiring.
think I might have seen some, yeah. I can't pinpoint it right now, but
And I just
think so.
am presenting
I'm
it
just asking, because
proactively,
Yeah.
because I would be
Yeah.
surprised if we don't see them in the future.
I think you call out NFPA 37, which is good. I think some of the other issues can be cleared up just by calling out, I know the mechanical code references, exhaust locations, and so maybe we could use that as more of a, we don't have to describe it ourselves, just call out. Like, I think, what was it, NFPA 110 is a standard for emergency and standby power systems, so that would have, like, we shouldn't be the ones making the rules. It would be,
So does that cover C, Andrew?
Probably.
yeah, C,
Should.
yeah, yep. Yep.
C is a bit.
And E, I would think.
No,
Yeah,
E gets into the nuisance question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Doesn't give specific setback numbers or placement.
yeah, that's true.
So
That's good.
Andrew, so replace C with just a reference to
Yeah,
state, is it state building code?
it's the NFPA
NFPA 110.
110.
So could B say reference both NFPA 10 and?
And B.
And B, just make B
Yeah.
refer to both of those?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. Then C gets struck.
Is it
Got it.
10 or 110?
110.
110, okay. I'll look it up before I put it in, but
Just out of curiosity, if we reference a code like that and it gets changed sometime in the future, does that redirect automatically get taken care of? Or, let's say that they do away with that regulation and give it a whole new number, does the follow-through follow?
if we add in the key phrases, as may be amended.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was
That's
thinking.
probably a good idea.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's a good call. All right, so I'll change out B to add the NFPA 110, drop C. Uh, The sprinkler and water runoff and the nuisance and then the last thing, again, F. Again, wouldn't think we'd have to put in the zoning code to say that the installation requires a building permit, electrical permit, and a mechanical permit.
So help me with the building permit part of it. Mechanical, you're saying because it's probably going to be hooked up to propane
Propane or natural
or
gas.
natural gas.
Yeah.
Electrical permit makes sense. Help explain the building permit one.
I'll double check that.
It would only have to do with the pad to put it on, I
Yeah,
would
so
think.
do they need a pad?
That's pretty minimal.
They usually, a lot of the, like kind you're referencing, kind of come with their own built-in foot pad on them. I've installed a very few of them.
So you just set it on the ground, on a level
Pretty
ground.
much. Yep, and you can put them on a pad, but the base is kind of its own pad.
Yeah.
It's not like a.
Yeah, it's
AC
possible.
where- Yeah.
So there may not be a,
I'm not sure building permit would be
I'm
required
not sure
in
what
that.
it would cover.
Yeah, I don't think you really,
I'll strike it.
Electric and
Yeah.
mechanical I can see.
Yep.
But building, I don't see a
good point.
need for that.
Can I ask why you need the mechanical?
For the gas.
I guess you're piping natural gas to fire it up, to run it.
Okay. So if it's one of the self-contained ones that you fill, you wouldn't need that then, right?
Most of the ones you're referring to, and they're not quite that big, for the home ones, they're about 3.5, 4 feet. They're almost all propane or natural gas, and a lot of them are dual. I did one where it was, they wanted both because in case the city gas went down, they wanted propane. And that was another whole code set of where you put a giant 500-gallon propane tank in Shoreview. So,
Okay, thank you.
all kinds of good code.
They have solar as well, just as an additional backup?
No, they didn't. They had fireproof coverings for their windows, though.
Ah.
Wow.
It was interesting home.
Is hardy board siding that
It
won't,
was all that.
Metal roof?
Metal roof, and, yeah, it was quite the deal.
no trees within 100 feet of the house?
It was a residential home in Shoreview that looked like a regular house, and it was not.
Somebody had been through something.
It was interesting.
All right, thank you for all that. Number 8 then is about covered but open porches. So again, proposing the covered but open porches, which means kind of a patio with a roof but not enclosed. So without walls, doors, windows, or screens, may encroach 6 feet into any required front setback, similar to what the patio language says, provided that a front setback of not less than 15 feet is maintained no covered but open porch may encroach into a required or rear yard setback. And then we get into some materials there. We don't want corrugated metal or plastic roofing on them. We want asphalt shingles or standing seam metal, because I've seen the hillbilly things, that enclosures that get put up that look,
Can I ask why not the, like, the clear ones, the clear roofs?
in my experience, they don't hold up unless you're really,
Oh,
you
I
get
can
hit.
invite you to come to see mine that my neighbors all compliment me on if you'd like. It looks very nice, actually.
If there's a specific type of plastic or
It's very clear.
plexiglass that
Yep, it's
works.
Fairly expensive, and yeah, it holds up really well. There's a lot of materials. I would say putting up a structure that holds asphalt shingles is a whole different beast than doing one that just holds up the plastic corrugated one. You're building a whole different structure
Right.
to hold up a shingled roof because of the weight.
Or a metal roof, yeah.
Depends on the type of metal roof, yep, those are a lot lighter than shingles, but shingles are quite heavy.
And again, this is one that I got the idea from reading another code.
Yeah,
It may not come up very often, I don't think it does, but
I would encourage not drilling down on the materials of the roof.
so the question for the commission is there a need for it?
The whole thing, you mean?
Yes.
Oh,
I, again, can't anticipate
yeah.
what people may want to propose or not propose. I can see some value in it, that's why I put it in there, but
And then a railing and spindles must be used around the,
I like the idea of that it's complementary with the existing structure that it's attached to, but I think all the other information about materials could be eliminated.
yeah. Because if it's less than 30 inches, it technically doesn't need railings or spindles.
right.
I also question the fact that it's referred to as covered but open porches, and then we refer to walls, doors, windows, and screens,
Yep.
which makes it not open, in my opinion.
Well, it says without walls.
Without walls, doors, windows, and screens.
We're trying to define what a covered
Oh, okay,
open
okay,
porch.
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. Just defining it.
So it's,
Yeah, I think getting real specific about the materials isn't necessary.
so, Patrick, you liked the line that said, the high-quality durable materials are consistent with the front of the principal structure.
Yes.
That's appropriate.
But then strike the next sentence.
Yeah, because in part, we don't even know what's going to be developed in the next 10 years in terms of,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
higher tech materials.
yeah, then strike the next sentence,
Okay.
all the way down to,
And then we have in there, a railing and spindles must be used around the covered but
I
open
don't think
porch.
you need that,
Well, I think the theory is if it's more than 30 inches above ground, you don't want,
but that's a building code
That's
thing.
covered in
though.
a different code.
yeah,
That's covered in a different
Yeah.
code.
okay, good point. Then we refer to the,
And then where you're talking about the base,
Yeah.
We're
I
getting
think
it.
there's confusion there.
we're in the weeds there.
Yeah. Then you're talking about frost footings required for a building permit and stuff. It's like, you have a whole bunch of information there that will be a building code requirement.
Or,
I think all of that could get struck.
Because these are either built on a patio or they're built on a porch. Mine's on the porch that was already there, and that was,
If you're building a structure that's going to have a cover over it, there will be a footing requirement of some sort.
it's probably
I was gonna
attached
And
to
it's
the
gonna
house.
be regulated by the building code.
Yep.
So I don't think all that stuff needs to be in.
Do we need the last sentence that says, if unfinished wood components are used, they must be stained,
Yeah,
painted, or sealed?
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
That's really pretty generic.
Okay. So I'll strike a whole bunch of the middle and leave that last sentence then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're building a new detached garage, you're not required to have a frost footing per se. You can have a monolithic slab as well, so I don't know why that might not work on a porch.
I don't know that that's true from a building code standpoint.
Well, let's put it this way, I've been dealing with it for 3 years. and-
I understand that people might do it. I don't
No,
know
I'm
that
not
it-
saying doing it, I've been talking about dealing with the planning department for 3 years on this. So,
All right, that's all the encroachment proposals. Next section is section 4, and first of all, I included a whole bunch of the existing code about nonconformities, 15409. And if we turn over to the next page, which is page 19, is where the additional language is. And what I'm proposing here, this is a new thing, is that if you have a house or a structure with a nonconforming setback, that you can add on to that house or structure using that same setback and not have to get a variance. So let's say it's at a 4-foot setback and you're supposed to have 6 foot. If you put an addition on and maintain the 4-foot setback, you can do that because the nonconformity has already been established. Maintain that same setback or less. You don't need a variance and go forth and build. And the code, because the code doesn't say that, and it's one of those vague areas in the code where if it doesn't say it, then you can't do it. Because we don't want to, it seems silly if a house has a 3 or 4 foot setback and now they want to do an addition and the setback is 6 foot, to have the house jog over 2 or 3 feet with the addition jog over to meet the current setback rules. So that's the intent of that. In a nutshell.
I think that sounds fair.
Is that whole section of all 4 of those bullet points?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All the new words are in black there is calling that out. And so it says, the building addition does not encroach further into the required setback than the existing structure and at least a 3-foot setback from the property line is maintained. The building addition's footprint must not exceed 50% of the footprint of the principal structure to be approved administratively. The city may approve an addition with a footprint that exceeds 50% of the footprint of the principal structure by conditional use permit, and that the building addition meets all other applicable city code and building code requirements.
Good. I think it's pretty straightforward.
does that take care of those properties that were on, was it 7th Street, I think you mentioned a couple of months ago, that they couldn't develop?
Right.
The only, I think it's awesome. The only thing I would ask, and I need to defer to you guys, are there ever non-conforming front setbacks? And because right now we spell out it can only be non-conforming side or back. But is non-conforming front, and would we allow them to, if it's non-conforming?
Like add on to the side
And
and maintain the front. Yeah, I would think that would be a reasonable thing to do too.
Yep.
Like if it's a really wide lot,
Right.
but their setback on the front is short of what the current code would require,
And the house was built
allow them to add.
before the front setback was.
The only time I could see that possibility is if the front face of the house is not a straight parallel plane to the front property line. Maybe part of it juts out and then part of it's set back.
Oh, so if it's at an angle to the,
If,
yeah. Like, let's say your house is, your front wall is positioned not parallel with the street or on a curved street or something. And you want to add on and now you're actually encroaching even more. So you, yeah, I mean, there are variations.
let's say the front wall is, the living space is at the setback, but the garage is front. We allow an addition on the living space to go closer in the front because now the garage wall is established that.
The other thing I could think of, and I don't know whether it would fall under this or not, would be somebody that decides to add a second story onto the original building.
Yeah.
You know, if they, because that would be enlarging the building, so, you know, if they let's say they've got a story and a half bungalow and they decide, well, we're going to jack this up another 6 feet so we can put a second story on here with that.
But unless you cantilevered, it wouldn't be going forward anymore, but.
If you're,
But you're matching the existing
You're matching the
setback.
existing, but you're up.
Yeah.
Whereas Jason, you're talking about just make the house a little wider.
Well,
And-
it specifically
but at the
calls
same-
out that this only talks about
side or
side and back. If your house existing right now isn't set back far enough on the front, and you wanted to make it a little wider, that's not covered by this. So I didn't know if we wanted to make that have to go to city council and be a variance that they approve, or should this just cover all sides?
So you could do it with a variance, and it would probably make sense to do it. But
I would say that
do we
makes
want
sense.
to handle it that way?
Jason,
Okay.
that sounds reasonable to me. I mean, what if you did an addition, it was the entire side of the house, and it was the back and the front? What would the difference be?
right. Well, we can certainly add in front yard if,
Yeah. I don't see a problem with it. I mean, I can imagine that somewhere you would see a situation where, oh, it really doesn't make sense here, but
Right.
where? I mean, it would have to be something extraordinary, I think.
That's what variances are for.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
front yard it is. That is all I have on that. If there are other comments or questions,
Well, actually, I am going to go back to the pergola thing again, because I was just in the wrong section. Because the section that was on, mine is showing as page 1. So, and that was your general definition of a pergola. Again, my question was, at least 50% open to the sky. It's like, what do, for those people that have movable roofs and that type of thing on their pergola, can we massage that definition slightly? Say something like, cannot have permanent roofing on them, or something to that effect. Because like I said, right now, the way it reads, if you have a movable roof on there, it could possibly be a non-conforming thing, especially if your roof is on there all the time, even though it could be retracted. So that's the only thing I'm wondering about. It may not be enough.
so would adding the word permanent before open solve that?
I think so, yeah. Does anybody else have any, or am I just picking at nits, folks?
I would never say that.
I have seen more roofs on pergolas than I ever would have imagined in the past. I see a lot more of them than I see others.
That's a covered pergola.
Yeah.
It's not a whole lot different from a porch.
That'd be, or, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of a gazebo kind of thing.
Yeah. Maybe that covers it. Maybe the difference is, between a pergola and a gazebo.
Because based on the information that you included in the packet, there was definitions of pergola was pretty loose from the standpoint of, is it covered, is it not covered, is it attached, is it not attached?
Right.
It could be a lot of things, so
You can buy kits at Costco and put them on your deck. And
I kind of think leaving it fairly loose is a good thing.
Yes,
I agree.
I agree.
So I'm clear. Do we want or need the word
we-
permanent in there or not for the roof?
I'll go with whatever the rest of the group goes with. Like I said, it was just something that I was concerning, something that was, never mind. I can't talk tonight.
Okay.
Got your attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it caught my attention.
I have a question in general. As we were going through all of the various paragraphs, there was specific mention of permits in one or two of those paragraphs. So if I want to build my patio and I want to follow the rules of building my patio, do I need a permit? Or if I want to add my awning, or if I want to build my arbor or my pergola,
Well, anything attached to the house permanently would need a
would
building.
need a permit, yeah.
Yeah, An
But a
at-grade
patio wouldn't necessarily.
No.
So the rules about where the patio can be, there's really no enforcement
Unless they call and ask.
unless they call and ask, or the neighbors say, hey, wait a minute, they're putting this over my property line.
Correct. Or they're putting it too close to the property line or
Yeah.
in the front yard, and they shouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
so you could, in theory, you can just go do your patio,
Yes.
because it's not a permitted thing. But yeah, the attached to the house, I actually did a deck that was not attached to the house. It's about that far from the house, but I specifically talked to the building official and said, do I need a permit for this? And he said, if it's attached to the house, you do. So that was a very specific situation.
A lot of freestanding decks for that reason.
Yeah, it's a floating platform. Okay. I'm just thinking about, well, it goes
We're all
back,
in the same category.
it goes back to that concept of, if you're going to put something in the ordinance, then you want to enforce it. Otherwise, why is it in there? And so how are we enforcing it? I guess is kind of where I was getting to.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think the attached to the house part is really what matters. You attach it to the structure, then you treat it differently.
Many municipalities, that's
Yeah.
their
If
law.
I was doing
the house or not.
a 20-foot diameter gazebo in my backyard, would that require a permit?
Bigger than,
Freestanding?
it's bigger than 200 square feet, so now it's an accessory structure.
Yep. So it then comes down to the size.
Yep.
Keep it 199 feet and you're under the
Yeah,
200
keep it under that.
No taller than 9 feet tall.
My COVID shed was 189 feet.
It's one of those things where you kind of, it's like building codes. You got to draw the line somewhere. Sometimes it's really arbitrary. Okay.
So thank you for all that. I think we have some good direction and consensus, and I will make changes, and we'll schedule this for a public hearing at the next planning commission meeting for formal review and adoption, hopefully. All right. Next, shall we talk subdivision ordinance? This is really fun, too. Actually, this one, we did have a preview of this on July 9th, and I, since have gotten a few more comments from our city attorney. I have not gotten the comments yet from our city engineer. Well, I just got them this week after the packet went out. I rephrase that, about some of the engineering sections. So what has changed from last month is it's reformatted a little different, the order's a little different, most of the words are all the same except one section, which is 153.037, which is on pages 17 through 20 of the code, which are what pages? I will find that for you.
Got the highlighted ones?
Yeah.
No, I'll talk about those.
Now I'm seeing.
It's on page 39 of the packet. It's administrative subdivisions. And so this is a section that is, in a nutshell, grants staff the authority to staff to approve some, what I would call minor subdivisions, whether 39 in the packet. Yep. Page 17 or 39, depending on how you look at it, 153.037. So this would give staff the authority to approve a subdivision where dividing existing property into 2 or 3 lots, combining multiple lots into one parcel, or adjusting a common property line affecting existing parcels. So the first one, dividing existing property into 2 or 3 lots, that's, and there are more details in this for that. If, let's say there's a property is 200 feet wide, maybe has one house on it, maybe has no houses, the streets in, the utilities in, Now they want to subdivide that. They don't have to go through the full platting process with a preliminary plat, final plat if they don't want to. They can submit paperwork and surveys, the staff can approve that administratively rather than going to the planning commission and city council. No new street, no new utilities, lots meet all the setbacks and the zoning requirements. That, as proposed, the staff could approve that. Combining multiple lots into one parcel, that's, again, if you have 3 50-foot lots and now you want to make one 150-foot wide lot, you want to combine them all, staff can approve that. Last one is the adjusting a common lot line affecting existing parcels. So one neighbor wants to buy 5 feet from the other neighbor. Again, they get a survey done, they both agree on it, staff can approve that. It doesn't have to go to the planning commission.
Does the approval, is there a condition anywhere about recording it with the county?
Yes,
Okay.
yep,
Because that.
for
does
all
that-
of these.
Does that have to happen before the staff officially approves? Or
No.
build on it or something?
Okay.
The
Now that-
process would be staff would have to approve it.
Then goes
Then
to
it
the
could
county.
be
That's what I thought.
recorded.
Yeah, that's sequence.
So it could be struck down by the county, or in my case, MnDOT, if we determined that that was going to create a traffic hazard.
Sure.
Okay. That was the only thing I was concerned about. Combining lots and adjusting the lot line makes worlds of sense to me. But splitting lots, they're, and I can't think of anything within the town that's a possibility that this would do this. But, if you split a lot and you had more driveway accesses coming onto a Minnesota highway, that could create problems with traffic situations. So, but like I say, I can't think of any.
Margaret and South, there's a house for sale right now. It's 2 parcels. It might already be 2 parcels, but it's definitely buildable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
School?
Yeah,
yeah.
No, it's
There's a couple over on,
it's one. They're advertising saying they can split it. They've talked to somebody, so it's one of these examples.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it has driveways from both streets.
there's a
Yep.
few properties.
There are.
Like that are big that could.
On First,
they
right
could
behind
divide.
me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
2 parcels.
And I'm not
Yeah,
saying that that's a
definitely.
reason not to do it. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that there is an out.
Yeah.
So that if we were to come back to, talking as MnDOT, we were to come back to somebody that said, I want to build a 60-unit apartment building on 2 different lots here, and we say that our road can't handle that, we've got that option of saying,
Yeah.
so.
So that, in a very quick summary, is the biggest change from the last set of words that you all had. Now, the sections that are highlighted in yellow were the areas I wanted input from the city engineer, and I just kept them yellow more for make sure I didn't forget. And as I said, I just got his comments, and there'll be some tweaks to those. I don't remember what pages they're on. Oh,
Page 37 is the
Yep.
first one.
right. So, for example, in some cities, the city engineer designs all the public improvements. Other cities, the applicant's consulting engineer designs them, and then they get reviewed by the city engineer. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Each city can do it however they wish. And then, yeah, over on page 38, and is the next yellows. I was wondering if they really need a surveyor to do construction staking. He has since told me, no, they don't. But, so I'll get some clarity on H1, on H and H1 on page 38 before putting the final version together. And this did take into, I should clarify too, there were a few changes in some of the words based on comments from the city attorney. So he has reviewed this draft, the previous draft, and I made some changes. I didn't think there was anything real substantial that I needed to call out to the commission. It was a lot of legalese and making sure that we crossed our Ts and dotted our Is. And so that's hopefully all taken care of in this version. I'm waiting to get his feedback on the one section about park dedication. which is, where the heck is that? Oh, 153,091 towards the back. Page,
What page are you referring
I'm
to?
looking at
43.
43 of the ordinance, which is page 65. Page 43 and 44.
Issue building permits until a street. is
Parking land
actually-
dedication requirements?
Yep, that had some, I made some changes there based on city attorney input. And then since the packet went out, we also got some comments from one of the residents that had some suggestions that, to make sure that that's really conforming with and meets the standards that were set by the Supreme Court in 2022 in the Burnsville case. And so I've asked city attorney to look at that again to make sure we've covered everything there we need to cover. So that might change a little bit in the final version. So my intent is to make those final changes based on the engineer, the attorney, any comments you all might have, and again, schedule that for this ordinance for a public hearing at the next meeting as well.
Ken, question for you. And I apologize, I should know this. Can you define what mixed use is?
Pardon me?
What is mixed use?
That's primarily our downtown district where you have residential and commercial either in the same building or right next to it.
Oh, so it's not multifamily?
No,
Oh, okay, thank you.
Like the apartments above Newman's.
correct. Any other questions on that?
I'm comfortable with the
good.
administrative
Yeah.
lot.
Trying to simplify people's lives a little bit.
Especially if the city engineer has sent you that
Oh, yeah.
information.
Yeah.
You know, if they're comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it.
Great. All right, that's all I had on that.
Wow. We're up to item 8 on our agenda then.
Report?
Thank you. Very good report on your part.
I can give you a couple updates under reports if you wish.
Yes.
So as I indicated, the two items on tonight we'll schedule for public hearings for the meeting on the 4th and advertise them and all that. And then we did receive the application for the Cowren School addition, remodel, redo project. That just came in Monday or Tuesday, so that will also be on the meeting of the 4th. And that will also be a public hearing. So the neighbors will be invited and have a chance to come out and talk about that. It looks like it meets all the code, and everything that we need. It's a very high level. It's an addition going off to the southwest side of the building, redoing some of the playgrounds, expanding the parking lot. So there's more on-site parking and more queuing within the parking lot to get some of the cars off of South, hopefully. And then adding a bus pull-in lane right off of Margaret, right in the front of the school.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll alleviate some traffic,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they've got a plan. They're squeezing it in.
So 3 public hearings next month.
Yeah, all of the two ordinances, I wouldn't expect a big turnout, but
Right.
Can I ask a question?
absolutely.
Last month's meeting, Tim Taylor came in and talked. Is there any follow-up actions?
That's all in the hands of our code enforcement folks.
Okay, perfect. That was what I was looking to inquire.
Yeah.
The city council did approve the comprehensive plan amendment and zoning ordinance map amendments that we made or proposed for down by 7th and McKnight. So those are now in effect. We've got a student-built house we're gonna try to get it in on the corner of 7th and 2nd or 3rd.
It's been surveyed.
Yes,
Yeah.
that corner lot, and that was part of the reason for making the zoning map change, because
Yeah.
the house wouldn't have been legal there. And actually, it looks like a twin home will fit there. That's what's in the works. We'll hopefully get that permit, construction started to end early in mid-September. This one's now going to be done by St. Paul College.
Oh, wow.
The other program has lost their leader.
Oh, that's too bad.
But St. Paul College does more of it, I think, than the previous program. more students, more hands-on.
Okay.
So, yeah, new opportunity there.
What is the difference between a twin home and a duplex?
Oh,
boy.
no.
I don't know that they're.
You have another half hour?
I think it depends on who owns the property and,
Is that basically what it comes down to, is
That's
it's
a lot.
yeah,
two different property owners as opposed to one that's renting?
yeah.
So is it a bubbler or is it a fountain?
Is it soda or pop?
It is pop.
That's exactly
You are
when I
in
hear those 2 words
Minnesota.
together of,
I know.
Yeah,
I think those are much alike.
Yeah.
they're
Yes.
much alike.
It's muchness of a muchness.
There is, it has to do with ownership, I think, more than anything else.
Is there anything else you want to add? Jason, I don't know if Councilmember Norpy has anything yet.
No, and again, just want to say I appreciate all of you. You are doing outstanding work and can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
I have nothing else. unless
We have
there's other
reports from Commissioner Muley,
I'm reportless.
Commissioner Wise.
I just wanted to ask about the, you had showed us a plan on South and 7th Street, or right near there, a little strip right next to the Gateway Trail. Is there any movement on that at all?
No.
No, okay.
Actually, I do have a question, and this is, I don't know, it's not exactly a planning commission question, but it could be. I just remembered seeing something online very recently about confrontation in front of the post office about handicap parking during the car show. And I was just wondering whether that was something that had come to the city's attention and,
It has, the city manager is aware of it, and he has been given all the data that's available.
okay.
And that's current as of Tuesday. I have not had an update since
Yeah.
Tuesday.
I was just wondering, because of, possibility of signage and that type of thing was why I was thinking about it.
I do have one question, though, about Andrew's question. That was the gentleman that was at the meeting on the city council meeting earlier this month, and we approved him to go after the grant he's after.
Oh,
So there is a slight update
Oh,
of
okay.
that.
I wasn't, yes.
He is applying for a grant, and we as a city approved him to allow him to go after that grant.
Okay,
And
great.
that has been submitted, it's in the works.
What was the grant covering? More or less.
Yeah.
No, what was it about?
Well, it's to help the developer finalize development plans, do soil testing, advanced landscaping and stormwater management plans to be more natural friendly and eco-friendly and all that. And in turn, he will pledge to have low to moderate income units for sale. And the grant submittal was for $225,000 to go towards those costs, which then he can lower the cost of the project, in theory, make it work to have moderate income
Good.
housing.
Thanks, Jason.
Creative financing, that's good. Commissioner Alvarez, do you have anything to report?
Do not.
Commissioner Ruthy?
I do not.
Commissioner Gapley?
I do not.
Did anybody attend, I know some people did, Tuesday's night out?
It was pretty awesome. Nice work,
Yeah.
Mr. Blees.
Yeah, I do
FYI.
give my lovely bride credit for that. She and Jinda did a really good job.
Just did
pulling that
nice work.
together.
It's a good time.
Yeah, we do one every year, and we had about 60 people.
Wow.
It was good.
That's big.
Yeah, the fire trucks always stop, a lot of
Yep.
police stop, and
Yep.
it was good. It was a good time. It's where we're at now, in between we use our neighbor's driveway because theirs is nicer than ours. It's been, I think, third year, and then we did 2 in our gravel driveway, and then we were at Housy for 2 years, and it just never had as much traction.
It's a good turnout, though.
But, yeah, it's good. We do a pile of brats, and it was a lot of fun, and the kids come, and the neighbors show up right away this year, and it was
Yeah.
a good time.
I think it's a great thing, and we
It
should,
is.
we should really publicize and
Yeah.
try
And the city responds really well. Like,
The
the
city
fire
does.
trucks are there a long time, and they
Oh, I
come
saw
out, and they
that.
bring stickers for the kids, and the
We
cops
saw
bring stickers for the
the
kids.
ghost police car. That's it.
White one.
I never
Oh,
saw that one
yeah.
before. The white one with white printing?
Yeah, yeah.
And the license plate that looks like I don't know what it looks like. You can sort of make out the word police on it. but
Sneaky.
quiet.
You're not supposed to see it.
Yeah, it looks like a ghost car.
The fire department here went through 250 hot dogs in about an hour.
Wow. It's a lot of hot dogs.
Unfortunately, my street doesn't seem to participate, so.
Well, I encourage you, watch for it next year. It's the second Tuesday. Oh, right?
Yes.
Second Tuesday.
Of August, always second
Always
Tuesday.
second Tuesday.
Oh, no, first
Tuesday.
First Tuesday, sorry.
First Tuesday,
First
yep.
Tuesday.
First Tuesday.
It's
Yep,
very
always the
Of
first,
course, it's the first Tuesday.
every August.
I did notice that, I think it was Maplewood and White Bear. I saw that the news reporting actually showed that they had maps of where there were gatherings. And I thought, that might be a really cool thing if we have somebody on staff who could pull that together, to actually put it on their website.
Yeah, the people that pre-register, so the police and
Yeah.
fire know where to go, I assume it wouldn't be very difficult to make a map of.
Yeah,
Yeah, we register every year.
something to think about for next year.
I guess the theory is the neighbors know where their neighbors are, and
Yeah. But
are
it's,
they gonna go 6 blocks over to another neighbor? Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I handed out 75, I mean, I go to the neighborhood and
Yeah.
walk the entire neighborhood and knock
Yeah,
on
we did
everyone's
flyers.
door. Yeah,
Yep. Little half-sheet flyers.
yeah.
I guess the next question is, are we going to be the skeleton city for Halloween?
Ooh, well,
Oh,
I don't know how you
She-
make the snowman look like a skeleton. Good luck on that one.
She comes to our neighborhood night out. She's in the block behind us. She comes to ours.
I've noticed them popping up in more places around town.
There's a lot of them showing up.
I can put mine out.
Yeah.
You can-
Okay,
You can get Halloween candy at Cub already.
anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Commissioner Rothi, is there a second?
I will second.
Second from Commissioner Alvarez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have unanimousness. It's 7:47.
It's funny how nobody ever seems to be opposed to.
Nobody is opposed to